minutes there. We got roll call. We've got 3 of our members here today, myself, Peggy Buehler, and Leslie Kirchner. Oh, Lindsay. What did I call her?
Leslie.
Sorry, Lindsay. Your name got small. I need to get my eyes checked and my vocabulary checked on too. So the first thing on our agenda today is the selection of a vice chairman. I thought you were that, Peggy.
Yes.
I thought so too, and then it even took me off the city website. I was removed, but we do have to elect a new one every year, and so let somebody else do it this year.
Well, unless we want you to do it.
Whatever.
How about you, Leslie?
Wants.
Lindsay. Yeah, I want to ask Lindsay. Lindsay, are you staying on the LTAC with us?
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah. I mean,
There's no change there. You're still working in Prosser, right?
yeah.
Uh-huh. And you expect to continue on our LTAC?
Yeah. As far as I know, yeah,
Okay,
I'm
good.
still on there.
Well, good. I know that I've heard a little something, and I just want to double check.
Yeah.
So then the other thing is I have a question about is we need a nomination for vice chair. Now, Peggy served this last year. Do you think you have time this year?
Yeah.
Would you like to?
Yeah.
Okay. So Peggy, does
Perfect
that
for
fit
me.
with you?
Perfect for me.
Do you nominate Lindsay?
I guess
I nominate Lindsay.
I will second it. and you will serve, Lindsay?
Yes. Yes.
I guess we should say all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All in favor,
Aye.
say aye, aye. Okay, good. All right. So you will be vice chair, and then in the event for one reason or another I can't be here, you will stand in for me. And we can still do Zoom, so that's perfect.
And Lindsay's membership is tied to the Rotary, so she doesn't have a problem being on the board.
Good.
Until, as long as she continues on Rotary.
Good. And then of course Peggy is because of the RV park.
Yeah, so Peggy, everybody that's on is fine right now because Lindsay is with Rotary, and then Amy is through ANA through Sunshine Days. So
Okay.
everybody who's on here.
And of course then Tom was he planning to be here today?
He said he was.
Okay, maybe he'll be checking in with us in a little bit then. Okay, well then now that we have a new vice chair, thank you very much for serving, Lindsay. Just write that down so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Okay, and then now we are going to review a late general proposal received in 2023 lodging tax funds and consider recommendation to the City Council for approval. It's funding for the American Legion Post 73. We funded them for in 2021 for $30,000. This year they're asking for $15,000, and I think that we probably did. Everybody get a copy of this proposal?
Yes.
I'm just looking at it now. I haven't checked my mailbox, so I need to be
It was
more.
online too.
Yeah, it was online, and I did look at it. So,
Should we consider it though? Because they were late submitting last year and they were notified the proper procedures on how to do it. And then they were late this year. And when I spoke with Jackie about it, she informed me we turned away other people. And so to accept them and not accept the other people when this is their second year not doing it right, and the RFP was not turned in with the packet per the instructions that were given. So I actually support the funding 100%. I'm voting yes, but I'm saying before we even get to that, should we be allowing them to do that? break the rules 2 years in a row when others did not.
Well, that's worth considering, absolutely. Lindsay, you have any thoughts on it? On that?
Yeah, I'm along the same lines. I was just gonna ask, is there a reason? Do they need this? I mean, is this something, because I think before the reason we did it is because they couldn't get what they needed until that time, and that's why it was late. And so I was just curious if there was a reason, or if there is a reason that it can't wait until the next time.
Which would be August, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
When we turned this in, it didn't seem that way. There was one year, you're right, Lindsay, where they placed the order. They had requested the funding in 2020, but they didn't get, that's why they have a large amount in 2021, because they got the funding in 2020 but couldn't spend it because because of COVID. They couldn't ship it. So then that's why we recommended that the money like carry over to the next year, so 2021.
Yeah.
So it was just that they couldn't get the materials here, so they didn't get billed actually. But other than that, they got their money. We just extended it a whole other year for them to use it. Because for normal agencies, if they don't use it within this time, you lose it.
Right.
We don't lose it, but the agency
does, right. And he did, there's nothing here to explain for why it was late.
No.
I mean, was somebody sick?
And it was incomplete.
It was incomplete?
It was at the time of submittal. Jackie did her magic though.
Yeah, I asked him to submit the form for me before we had a meeting. It was the day before that. Oh no, it was Monday. I asked him, hey, I need it by Monday so I can publish it with my agenda. And then Wednesday we had the meeting, but we didn't have a quorum, so we couldn't.
Okay. So, but he has since rectified any items that were missing.
So when he first sent the email, he didn't provide anything until I asked, well, can you give me something that I can present to them? And so this is what he provided.
But this is complete.
It's complete now after Jackie did her magic. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have his letters of recommendations, the statement of policy. Yeah, but I think, is it Tom? Yeah, tell him to come back.
I'm trying to remember what he's wanting to use this money for. Another
slab.
Another granite slab. That will only 14 will only buy one, won't it?
Hello, sir. There's the packet right there. We're just on B, A1B.
Yeah, so we're talking about the Legion Post request for $15,000. There's a couple of snafus with getting it in on time, and it was incomplete, but that's been rectified. I'm just giving you a thumbnail for you up to date with. And it's for another of their black granite walls.
And Jackie, how many people did we turn away and not accept their RFP? Now, I know you told me they went willingly and said, we'll do it in August, but there were other people who turned it in afterwards as well that agreed to follow the rules. And how many people did we turn away and not consider?
Those people didn't turn in actual proposals. They had something in it was one gentleman that had one in his hand. I don't know if it was filled out or not, but he was asking about it. And so I said, our window is closed, but if you have something to submit, like, let me know. And he says, no, I'll just wait until the following year. That gives me more time to. But then I had two other people call, and I tell them our window is closed, but if you have something, again, give it to me and I'll show it to them. I always, just like this, I had received something. Do you guys want to review it or not? But on our website, it does say that our window is closed and we don't receive any more. And so I kind of feel like I feel bad when I turn away people saying, oh, you know, our website does say we're not taking any, but.
But this one was.
I think the problem in this case is especially if it's that many numbers, I didn't know it was that many. Should we even consider this application at this time before we look at it? Considering 3 other people went away.
I was thinking the same thing. I was trying to give Tom a minute if he needed to catch up, if he had any input, but I think before we've always said no. So if there was no other reason other than they just, forgot, then, or that no other reason that it can't wait until August, I would prefer to wait and, see the proposal again in August.
This is a proposal requesting $12,000.
15,000.
15.
They do the amount that they want and then a reduced amount.
I'm looking at it. It says funding request is 12,000.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's 12,000, so that's a correction, and then the reduced amount is 10,000. So their amount requesting is 12,000, and then their reduced amount is 10,000. I'm sorry, I think I may have put that because I asked our finance director, hey, do we have money for this? And she says there's 15,000 in the miscellaneous fund that we could transfer over. There's obviously more, but she says this right out, she's like, without looking at it, there's already money in there for it. So
I guess I hear what you ladies are saying regarding the deadline, and that's important, but it's also, I think, important for us not to discourage people if people want to submit something. And I'm going to recommend that on your website, you say that formal proposals are accepted in the August timeframe, but if you want to turn something in, there's no guarantee that it's going to be considered. But turn it in, get something from people so that we get people engaged. If people are...
I agree. I think people should be able to turn it in all year long. I think we should welcome it. But our time frame is our time frame until we as a committee change it. It just that this is the second year in the row of doing it. And since we turned other people away, I, in good conscience, did not vote yes on a proposal that I would otherwise vote yes on.
Well, and I know we have put quite a bit into this project already.
It is a worthwhile project.
I think it said, I think that it's.
$114,000
Yeah,
already.
I believe that's what we've put in already.
And this is one of those things that, I'll just speak my mind here. This is one of those, what I call bigger picture issues, because for us to be effective, what we need to do is we need to create things where we have a competitive edge. And this is something that nobody else has. You don't see this in Seattle. You don't see this in any of the larger communities. This is something that properly developed could be a tourism demand generator, because you have events associated with it, especially at times of the year like December 7th, November 11th, when tourism isn't quite as strong as it is at other times, that would bring people from out of town. So I would like to fund this. I think that the
In August.
issue of timing is important. But I guess the other question I have is, if they have the funding now, are they able to put 2 more up before the end of the year? And if they are putting more up, what other events are they planning? That's the real key. What are they planning with this?
I was just trying to see if in his rereading it here a little bit,
I remember him talking about
and
Veterans Day and Pearl Harbor Day and
Jackie, can we go to a committee that just consider these when they are dropped off and not have these rules? I don't know. I mean, just throwing it out there. My only problem is the 3 people who didn't do it.
I I think you
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
He wants to know if the committee could just consider these at any time, or if we have to consider them within a specific time.
You can. It's just in previous years, we've just stuck to the summer. That way we can budget that amount in, and so finance knows what to put into that line item. And I know those previous city clerks just said it's just, you'd have to do budget amendments and other things that just,
Because we're working on the budget in June,
Yeah.
July,
Yeah,
and August.
and that way it's just one cycle and you
Yeah.
have your full amount. Let's see how much you spend already. And
Yeah.
I agree, it does agree with the other city clerks. It makes it so it's organized. We know the agreements that go out, we know, and versus, we need this money tomorrow, next week, our event is next week and we need this money. And it's just like, well, it doesn't.
I'm kind of curious as to, it was late and it was not complete, but he remedied that factor. It still was late. And he's kind of got a thing about being late. And, people were late. I'm not one to raise up too much fuss about that, but again, with, we're all trying to make sure we have enough money to spread around for the projects we do want to fund. So.
I have a question for you, Jackie. When you do your budget, can you, because I know we've, I don't want to call it played this game, but we've played this game in other communities where we put a dollar amount out there. This is what the budget is, but we don't have a amount per se. So it's in the city's budget as a line item. You got to go back and allocate it to some specific project, but it's already in the budget, so you don't have to do a budget amendment.
It's all in there in the tourism budget. The line item that we use, the professional services line. So that's why I said, like, Jamie put in $15,000 into the miscellaneous line just to have that extra cushion. But yeah, it's all in there. If we go over our budget, it's fine because our beginning balance and the incoming money, it's all in the tourism fund. But do we just do the amendment so it's clean and everybody transparent, which is fine. There's no problem because they do like 4 or 5 budget amendments a year.
Well, I don't want to create additional work for you. I know.
No, it doesn't cause work for me. It's exciting to her. So go ahead and do whatever you guys want.
Okay, well,
anyway.
okay.
So far, you guys have.
If we do it, we need to contact the 3 people who were told no and consider that. Otherwise, it's just not fair. Then we're definitely creating a negative attitude towards it. It would almost be better than to tell him to wait till August than to, a few months till August and do it right this year. Or we have to consider the people who didn't get to do it, because that does create a negative situation for the city. And we don't want any more of favoritism. Look, he got it, I didn't. We don't want any more of that in the city.
Do you remember who were the people who were told that the window was closed?
No.
No.
Oh.
Because I always tell them, if you want them to review something, give me something that I can present to them. So
If they don't give you anything, there's nothing
Yeah,
to present
I
to us.
understand. Yeah.
But I'd also like to say that there's always grants that they're only open a certain time, and then after that, that's it.
Mhm.
So I understand what you're saying, Tom, yeah, we don't like to turn people away, but I feel like what Peggy is saying is that we have in the past. So it's just, yeah, like she said, we don't want to just favor one entity, that we're going to do that. And I think that a lot of grants, any grants that I've ever applied for, it's always one time of year that they're open. And then after that, they're closed until the next year. So I don't think anything's wrong with having them do just one time a year.
Here it is. What is it now? It's almost April. More months till August. is there any problem with just having him, you know, he's got it done now. It's not gonna, his amount that he wants is not gonna change. Can we not just hold it and bring it up in August? Does there anybody have any suggestions otherwise
Yeah.
like that?
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him not having to put a brand new one for us. I'm fine with just using this one, but just saying that we won't discuss it until everybody else turns theirs in August.
And explain
Because
to
I
them
think-
why,
I think-
so there's no hard feelings. We had others, and we can't make an exception for one without making an exception for all. And unfortunately, we don't know who the others are. You know, just be honest, and that way we're being fair to everyone.
I kind of hesitate to put too much information on that. I think what we want to do is to keep it as straightforward as possible, absolutely. But can we just say to Mr. Shricks, and I can't remember, Greg Schlieve, and Mr. Schlieve, that we have his proposal, and we'd like to hold it over until our regular window of funding opens. He doesn't have to do anything else. We have it, hang on to it, and then we can consider it in August. I don't think it's going to matter too much. I mean, we can ask him, but I wouldn't really want to know right now, partly because I don't want to get in an argument with him.
The only thing that might change would be costs. If he's got a quote that's good for 30, 60, or 90 days, it's not gonna be good again in August.
Well,
I don't have a problem if you guys are uncomfortable with considering this without having considered the others. I don't have a problem with saying, let's wait, let's be fair and equitable. But I think we need to modify the rules and say that you can submit a proposal at any point in time. There's no guarantee it's going to be reviewed.
Yeah.
It needs to be reviewed by this body and then recommended to city council. That's the mechanism. We don't approve anything.
No,
We recommend.
we recommend.
Yes.
And so there's hoops that needs to be gone through.
So I think your point is well taken, that if we are accepting proposals anytime through the year, but the only time we review them for recommendation is in August.
Well, that wouldn't-
Or if we do a special meeting.
Or if we do a special meeting.
Yeah, and that's something that she
Perfect.
calls, and if she can get us all together, great. If
Yeah.
she can't, then it can't happen.
Then we can't happen.
Perfect.
The direction is open it from as of tomorrow or Monday, open it for everybody, you know,
All
well,
the time.
okay, and
Tell
then,
Tell them
Perfect.
that there's a regularly scheduled review time in August, and there might be special meetings at other times, but there's no guarantee.
Right.
That way, and this is a thought for you, Lindsay, if a special opportunity comes along that happened after August, but we can still act on it, we don't have to wait, we don't have to miss it.
Yeah.
We have the opportunity to act on it. We don't have to, though.
That makes sense to everybody?
Perfect. I think it's
Perfect.
encouraging, but works with the city.
Right. Lindsay, any thoughts?
No,
Are you in agreement with
yeah,
the suggestions that come with?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Do we need a motion on that at all?
I think it's listed as LTAC's direction was to hold that application until next year, and open the window for review for all year, worded,
Okay, pretty obvious.
yeah.
And Jackie, is that
Yeah.
something when you make the report to city council that they can say, you know, no, we want to get this done right now, and then,
They can send it back to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
that's what I'm
They
saying,
can
like,
say, "No, we want you to reconsider,
And then
yeah.
that
Yeah.
way, take some of the, I mean, we know we're in favor of it.
yeah,
It's just the timing. is the only
Exactly,
thing
yeah.
we're-
I was gonna,
Okay.
yeah,
And I'll explain that to them so that they know.
Yeah. And you do a very good job of it. So I think that sounds to me like the best way to handle it. Okay. So now then, Are we done with this issue then? Can we move on to the next item?
I
Everybody?
believe so.
Okay, so the next item is to consider recommending City Council reallocate previously awarded 2023 Cinco de Mayo Festival Lodging Fund, tax funds from AA Promotions to the City of Sunnyside. And this is gonna probably require some explanation. And Jackie, can you maybe fill us in a little bit on that?
Okay, so in February, we received notice from Amy, or just A&A Promotions, that they were no longer doing the event for Cinco de Mayo. Unfortunately, I think that they do great work. And so the city is left with having to take the event and plan the event ourselves. So City Manager Alba and all of the staff here, including, we've made partnerships with La Familia so that they can bring us the entertainment. So we're planning the event. We're just asking that you reallocate that money from A&A back to us so that we can expend that money. So we've got lots of things in, but like the plan, the Sunnyside will organize the pageant. Fiesta Foods is still coordinating the charro competition. There'll be a car show. What else? The carnival has confirmed that they are coming. I think there's a 9-band lineup. The vendors, we're honoring as long as they show us a receipt that they made payment to A&A from last year. You know how they had the incident there. We're honoring their vendor spots this year so that they don't have to pay. So,
Have any of the vendors previously paid for 2023?
yeah, they've come back and said that we've gotten calls, and I think there's probably like 20 of them that have confirmed with Victoria that they've shown the receipt, their space number, and they're coming back for this year.
So are those funds also being transferred to the city?
No.
So wait, they paid for, they
No,
paid for
I'm sorry, they
2023?
paid for 2022.
No.
Okay.
They paid for 2022, and then we're just honoring those funds.
Because they were closed on the first day of the festival because of the shooting.
I see.
Yeah, no, they didn't prepay for 2023. There was 2022, and then because everything happened, Amy was still billed for everything, like all of the bills she still had to pay. So she was left with nothing to reimburse them, and she was going to do the same thing, honor their vendor spots for this year. But with her deciding not to do it, we're going to honor the same thing.
You may not know the answer to this question. Is there a specific reason why she's decided not to do it?
I can only say what she wrote in this letter, this email that's in your packet. Other than that,
Where is that at?
it's an email from February 21st that she sent over. So that's the reason she gave.
Just a copy of the email is where?
Yeah, it's in there. Did you grab a packet from there?
Yeah, from that file right there. And I don't see a letter.
Yeah, let's see.
I guess the only question I have is, are we sailing into something that we don't know about?
Oh, here we go.
Here, let me get you I don't know if I gave you a copy, Tom. Oh, here, maybe in the next one? No?
She just said we're not doing it. She didn't give us the reason.
Can I get that? I'll make a copy. And then
She
we at A&A Promotions would like to express our gratitude for your support and participation in our event over the years. It has been a privilege to work with you and bring exciting experiences to the community. However, after careful consideration and evaluation, we have decided to take a step back from organizing events this year. Our main priority is to work with individuals and organizations that we trust, and at this time we believe it is necessary to take a break from event planning. We understand that this decision may disappoint some community members, but we assure you that this is a temporary measure. We are committed to ensuring the well-being and safety of everyone involved in our events, and we believe that this is the best decision for now. We would like to thank you, the community, we would like to thank the community for their continued support, and we hope to return stronger and better in the future.
So it sounds to me almost like this year we're out, but we will come back to you at some point down the road.
Possibly. It could possibly, it's hard to say. But it gives the A&A promotions an out if they do want to come back.
Mhm.
And certainly if she ever wanted to do that, I think that we would look on that favorably, because she's done a really good job.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame.
Do you
Yeah.
think,
It-
was
it
she,
really is.
I do have a question though, but was it put to her that the city was gonna be taking over the event before she stepped out?
I'm not sure. I don't
know.
I don't know.
That's what was told.
I only know what I hear, but officially I don't know.
Well, that's what I was
Not
told by
right.
the city manager, that she was gonna be taking over the parade, the city was. So that's why I was curious, like, that's.
Did
You know,
she specifically say she was taking over Cinco de Mayo?
no, I'm saying for ours, for the lighted farm implement parade. So that's why I was curious.
Yeah,
That's also what happened with Cinco de Mayo. Like if it was been discussed
Rotary
at
is
the council
planning.
meetings or,
nothing
No.
like that has come up at a council meeting. I can say that for certain.
oh, okay.
She only briefly, at the last city council meeting, I brought up the question of why the city was getting involved in event planning, and she came back with that Amy was stepping down, A&A production was stepping down, and but he felt like that there were people in the community, including staff at City Hall. I'm kind of mixed minds about that. I don't think that the city should be really involved in planning events per se. I think that their job is different than that. But under the circumstances, they stepping into a breach. But I did, in my conversation with the city manager, I did encourage her not to get stuck in this. We don't want this to become a habit of the city stepping in and taking on projects.
I wish Amy would have been here so that
I wish she could have been to speak for herself.
That would have been
Yeah.
good. I mean,
I agree.
we're only trying to pick up what we can now to make this event happen. I mean, I think Amy and her team do a great job of planning events, and it's unfortunate what happened last year, because if that hadn't happened, I don't know if this would have happened, I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
we don't know.
and I can't speak for her or
Right.
for anything that I've heard. I can only speak to what's been officially
She did an
in
outstanding
writing.
job last year in a very difficult situation. None of us could have done any better.
So we're trying to pick up the pieces. We do have our staff has assisted Amy in previous years, also the Chamber of Commerce. So we have like Jaime, who knows a lot about what street closures, routes, and all of that. Our fire department, police department, they're taking care of security. On top of the police department, we're having a private security come, make sure that the event is secure. We're also having the drones fly by during the event, just to make sure, things that they can't see while they're walking, they're out looking, and then the SWAT team will be here. So, we're trying to do what we can, but we do have team members that have worked on Amy's team. So we're hoping that we can at least kind of fill her shoes. I know she does so much and she does a great job. So without her, it's going to be, it makes me sad. And I hope that we're able to make a great event, but we're doing what we can at this point.
Well, it's probably our best signature event.
Yeah,
So-
it brings the
I
most people
know.
to town of, the lighted Christmas parade.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark, but the Cinco de Mayo is in the light, and you can visibly see how many people are coming downtown.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sad, but we gotta
Well,
keep it moving. We gotta keep going. If, A&A I know that mayor's had conversations with Amy and her team, but I don't know what's come of that. I just know that this is what was officially presented to us, and I don't know any conversations
Right,
after that.
right.
I am, I do talk to Amy, but I wish she were here to express what she feels and her
Right.
reasons. So
Right,
as of right now, we're just asking for your recommendation to reallocate that money from them to us. Obviously, that money is still here. Amy has not been
Okay.
given a check for any of this money. It's just the formality of, you giving us getting it back. And again, Amy has not received any of these funds at all. They're still in our city funds. We're just changing it over to our name for now.
So I will make a motion that the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee recommend to City Council that they reallocate the funds from ANA Promotions to the City of Sunnyside for the 2023 Cinco de Mayo event.
is there a second?
I second.
Peggy, second. Is there any other discussion today?
I would echo what you said. I don't think the city should be in this business. I think this is an emergency
Good word.
pickup. And I would caveat the recommendation to the city
Mhm.
with that. We don't think you should have to do this. We appreciate you being willing to do this. We
Yeah,
hope we never ask you to do this again.
exactly. Can we get that all in there?
Yep, I'll get it
Okay.
in there. I'll get it.
And then okay, so is there any other debate on that? Any other comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Peggy? Lindsay?
I'm abstaining.
You do? Okay. Well, I too vote aye. Motion carries, and the recommendation will be made to the council that, so we can continue to move forward.
So can I ask you a question, Lindsay? Your concern and is you're abstaining just because you feel like you have a conflict of interest, or is there something
Yes.
else?
Yeah, I feel like I have a conflict of interest and conversations that I've had that I won't say no because I understand what Jackie's saying. I understand the emergency for it, but I don't feel right about it and I don't feel right at how it happened. So I'll just abstain.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. All right. So we'll move on to item D. All righty. At our large LTAC plan and vision, we have before us the draft of the policy that we've been working on. And I've heard some things here today. I think we need to double check that is in here somewhere. This is just a draft. We're not adopting this right now. Is there anything, somebody's got a hand up?
That's me.
Who's that?
I
Okay.
have to be done at 2:30. So I just,
Okay,
it's 2:15. So I just want to let everybody know if I have to hop off because I have to go cover the phones.
right. And so let's just discuss this a little bit. I'll try not to let you guys do most of the talking. So has everybody had an opportunity to look over the funding policy and see if there's
This is, I'm just blowing cobwebs off my memory here.
yeah, me too.
I got a message from Amy. She said she didn't know about the meeting. Would you like me to call her and see if she would like to join the meeting?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I sent her the info. I'm gonna double check that she was part of the email.
Education is spelled no.
Hi, Amy, this is Jackie. I was just calling to see if you wanted to join us here. I text you the meeting link, or you can call me back and I can put you on speaker. We just got done talking about Cinco de Mayo, and now we're moving into the draft policy. Give me a call back. Oh, never mind. She said she's on a Zoom call
Oh,
with work. So
with work, so.
been part of the communication where we asked about the 130 right there, and then notice AA promotions. Yeah, she's been part of it.
Maybe she. Okay. Now, these are the things that we talked about at our previous meeting. And this is just our funding policy, but when we were talking about recommend multiple.
I have a question, just maybe some clarification, if I might.
Okay.
On the page that says LTAC area of emphasis, there's a bullet point and then there's a subpoint, and the subpoint says strategies include development of key community assets that function as point destinations or venues for multi-purpose events and serve on a year-round basis. What does that mean? Does that mean that the asset needs to be open year-round?
Huh. Well, would that be like the plaza?
Well, I mean, that's open 24/7, 365.
Right.
But
other things like the
The
museum,
community, like that center you proposed to have a community event, like called, you recommended the event center.
oh yeah,
That be it?
that would be something, yes, a venue for multipurpose events on a year-round basis.
And again, this is from, I think it was San Juan or something like that, so I don't know if you guys want to change stuff, we can.
I would just strike that serve on a year-round basis,
Okay.
because that puts a restriction on something that might not be available year-round.
Right, so a function of point destinations or venues for multipurpose event, period. Or semicolon.
Yeah. Especially those festivals. Meetings or retreats of other communities. Existing organizations developing from other taxes. I agree. I think it's important for us to recognize that tourism is competitive, and you have a choice when you're deciding to go spend the weekend or a week or whatever someplace. You can go to Sunnyside, you can go to Chelan, you can go to Coeur d'Alene, you can go lots of different places. And I think one of the things that our strategy should include is development of items where we have a clear competitive advantage. And some of those are going to be geographically related.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those are going to be economically related. But I'll give you some specifics. We have a clear competitive advantage over many of the other rural communities in the valley because asparagus comes out first.
Mm-hmm.
And Sunnyside has, I don't want to say it has a stranglehold, but there's a lock on asparagus.
Right.
Sunnyside also has many of the dairies.
Mm-hmm.
And those are two agricultural commodities or two agricultural endeavors that we can do a lot of tourism with.
And I think one of the things that, if I'm hearing you correctly, egg tourism is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes, that's more than the wine, more than the beer, but ag tourism is huge, and we should be really getting some more in on the asparagus and you know, I know that the dairies have quit the tour business, having people come out to the farm. And I think education there next to ag tourism is spelled wrong.
That was deliberate.
Yeah.
Edutainment is a term that's a combination of
Right.
education and entertainment.
Right, now I remember. Okay, I remember now. But maybe we should hyphenate it or something.
You
Yeah.
can do that.
Because it's edutainment.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's do it that way. Something about it was popped out at me. But that is something we want. We're taking that out and pulling that. Okay, anybody else have anything that they want to change, add? Where's that note at? Where's the, all right, so. Yeah, okay. That's what that note kind of indicates down there. I'll tell you something that I would really like to see. First, we'll deal with this, because I know we've got 5 more minutes before we're going to lose Amy, or maybe sooner, Lindsay. Sorry, I'm really having some dementia moments here. I am so sorry. That's the 3rd or 4th time that Lindsay's name's got messed up.
Before Lindsay leaves, can
Mhm.
we excuse or Amy or whatever your direction is?
Yeah, I think we can give her an excuse that's absent.
Yeah, I motion to
Yeah,
excuse Amy from the absent team.
Elsie.
Yeah. Because she was on a
Second.
work, she had a work thing, and you're having a work thing coming up too, so we'll just make sure that happens.
So there's a motion.
Is there, did we have a second?
Second.
I'll say,
Okay, we got a second. So all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye, and I too vote aye. The motion carries. All right,
Even the dog agrees.
and just to make sure we don't,
so you excuse her just from this meeting, or,
just from this meeting.
okay, not permanently?
No, we need her on, we need her.
Just so that, just when you have 3 unexcused absences, you're removed from a board.
But this
So
one,
as long as you excuse her, she's fine. Just her absence is fine.
yeah, and plus it was work related as
Yeah.
she, you know,
Yep.
indicated. So on the final red points on the final page here regarding that's the bidders conferences, we talked about that. I think that's a really good idea. Stay in communication with other committee following the open meeting act, we have to do that. And this one we need to work on, we'll have to set this up for putting together a 5-year kind of vision plan. And we talked a great deal about that. I think that's someone want to go ahead and participate in creation master plan and proposal pre-screen workshop. And remind me what TPA is for.
Tourism promotion area,
Oh.
which allows you to charge, I think it's more now, but $2 per room night.
Oh,
Oh, it's a very nice source of additional
yeah.
revenue.
Can we have that spelled out, that it's tourism
Tourism promotion area.
promotion area? And I think that, I don't know what it takes to do that, but I think we need to do it.
You need 60% of the rooms in the market represented to sign a petition to request that tourism promotion area be formed. And we tried this in the past. Don't know with the addition of the rooms over at the Best Western, if Best Western alone has 60% of the rooms. If it does, we can do it. Before I had to get the folks at the roadway or whatever it was, and they refused to participate. So we came close.
Yeah.
But we weren't able to get 60%.
So maybe maybe we can readjust that. I think we put that on, do we need that as an agenda item for next time?
Wouldn't hurt.
Let's have a discussion on that.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do that. Is that agreement, everyone? To create a tourism promotion area. Talk about that on our next meeting. Okay, so is there any, before I get too far off the beat here, I don't know if that's, which phone is, 2 minutes. So do we need to make, we're just approving the draft policy?
It's right now, it's just a discussion on whatever, if you guys want to continue it on the next meeting, you guys can.
I think that's a good idea,
Yeah.
because there was some discussion here today. I think we want to include, make sure that we bring that in when we're talking about a window of opportunity. Right? Does that
Absolutely.
sound correct? And Trent?
Well, I would move that we approve this as written and as modified, because we can always modify it again, but we need to get to the main event, which is the tourism master plan.
Right.
This is just the bone.
This is the bone. So I agree with you on the master plan.
maybe, you want to add in the policy that with open all year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
Yes.
the thing. I think go ahead. Let's get
Yeah,
that in
that's
there.
very
That was the word I was trying to remember. Yeah, let's include that in there.
I'm going to do that.
Because we can accept proposals year round, but we only do our recommendations during the month of August.
And then I remember you guys said you guys wanted to talk about, funding events for several years. Would you guys want to talk about that later, the next one?
Let's talk about that at the
Okay.
next one,
So you want to approve it as is right now?
right now.
Is that my question? Okay.
And so is that in agreement with folks? We probably
Yes.
need a motion for that. So Peggy, you
Make
making the
motion.
motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I second.
and there's a second. And I don't know that we need discussion on that. I think we're in agreement. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Aye.
And I too vote aye. Okay. But on our, so we can let Lindsay, if you need to do,
Are there any items you want to put on the future agenda before we let her go?
yeah. Do you have anything particular you'd like to see on next month's agenda?
I don't know if it needs to be on the agenda, but I did, so you said earlier, as long as I'm still a part of Rotary, I'm on here on LTAC for the parade, correct? So then if I do
Yeah.
have to step away from Rotary because of my job, then someone else from Rotary just needs to do that, or will it just go, does it just go back to, because we have like sort for the cause, like other people who get funds, does it need to be opened up for someone else to step on? I just heard you say
Well,
that,
as
and I'm
long
gonna ask.
Yeah, no, as long as you're on Rotary, it doesn't mean like, the parade or anything. As long as you're a member of Rotary, then that's your spot. But then let's say you resign from Rotary, like you said, then it would be open to anybody, Yakima Valley Tourism, for the cause, 509 Insanity. So any of those people, anybody that receives the funds would be able to fill in.
Okay.
And then mayor would take the application, just like you guys did.
Mhm.
Well, not you, but everybody else applied, and then mayor would review the applications and then appoint somebody.
Am I missing something here? Are you no longer with the Lighted Farm Implement Parade?
No, I am. I just work in Prosser now, so I haven't been able to make meetings for quite some time in the Sunnyside Rotary. So I was just clear, but you missed that part because I'm the vice chair. So as far as I know, I'm staying on Rotary and I'm gonna try to make it when I can, but working in Prosser has made it difficult to make the noon meetings. So I was just trying to figure out, if I need to let them know if something happened, if they need to get someone else, or if that's just something that the, council takes care of. So, but yes,
think
as
as
of
long
right
as
now, I'm still on Rotary and we're still doing the parade, so,
Well, unless that situation changes and you'll let us know, then you're still a member of LTAC.
Right,
course,
and
yeah.
isn't the light department from the parade a separate organization, separate from Rotary?
No. But it's an event that the Rotary's been planning for the past few years. It is, I mean, yeah, because anybody can apply to do that.
I thought it was a separate 501c3.
No, it's
apart
not.
from Rotary.
It is not.
That's something that's interesting.
I didn't know that. I just
Yeah.
learned something. Thank you.
All right, Lindsay, so consider yourself on until you tell us different,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So we approved that. And did you have any items for the next meeting?
No,
No. Peggy? Any
No.
action items you want? No? So the ones that we've mentioned so far are okay with y'all?
I'd like to,
Do you want to add something?
yeah, I'd like to get that tourism master plan started. I don't, I'd like to extend an invitation to anybody who'd like to participate in that in the next meeting.
Okay, we could do that.
I'm sorry, what do we, because I thought we had that for the next meeting, so that's why I said I didn't have anything else. So what do we have right now for the next meeting on the
Yeah,
agenda?
that was too.
Yeah, what have we captured so far?
As of right now, what we have for the next meeting is to discuss establishing a tourism,
Area.
Area.
and then discuss establishing or creating a tourism master plan.
How are we gonna go about doing that? Is that something we discuss, or is that something where we bring people in and take input?
I think here's two ways we could do it. We can do it part one, part two. But I think the part one is we sit down and we figure out, map out what we've got going. And then try to establish, I think, different kinds of places we might want to fill holes. For the part two part, I think I would want to, just personally, I would want to invite those people who might want to fill some of these holes, and have them come to us, with maybe, so we can explain what it is we're trying to do and what their buy-in might be. Maybe they have different ideas than we do.
All right,
I can see if other cities have something that we can work from.
If there's something out there, that we can at least peruse.
I've never seen one myself, so this will be a what's the
What's in it?
what's the tourism master plan?
I can tell you what we did in Union Gap.
Oh, Union Gap.
Many, many years ago, we actually had a facilitator come and do, I want to say it was a day session, where they spent time going around the city and the community, looking at what the assets of the city and the community were. And then they had a stakeholder meeting. They had anybody who was interested come and share ideas. And the idea was just, let's get all the ideas out there, because when you have somebody who has an idea, that person typically is willing to push it. You have to have champions for things. You can't just have an idea with nobody to push it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You have to have somebody who's willing to push it.
Would that fall in the realm of Roger Brooks? Roger Brooks came and did an evaluation of the cities. The Community and Economic Development Commission is working on that. So I don't know if that's
That might be,
the
if
same
you guys,
thing. I can send it over to you guys by email, and he put down like what he thinks the city should improve, and
there's some good spots in some of the things that what you're talking about as far as champions out there. Those people may already exist.
Well, Greg's one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know he's a champion for what he's up to.
Right.
But the community development group are working from the book master plan, when he came in and did a $30,000 project to get him to come in and go do the very thing that you suggested. Went around downtown, went around the museums, talked to the merchants, talked to people on the street, brought it all back together with, and for a bit, the group that Lori Gardner is on, the whatever, Destination Sunnyside, they were, and the farmers market folks, they were really gung ho about it. They've kind of lost a little bit of speed, but it'd be worth including them in that kind of discussion to see where they're at, what they're planning to do. She's on the Economic Development Board now. And so there's some things happening there, but I think as LTAC advisory, we need to hear what they've got going.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a good thing to have. So is there any objection? I think we've lost something. But is there any objection to perhaps having Trevor Martin is our city community development guy, and he's been really busy putting together, working with the plan, and I'm kind of a liaison to that committee. So I think that would be something we should do, and I think what you suggested there, having a facilitator, I think that first, let's see what's going on, what's already happening. And we could bring in somebody to be our facilitator for that. I don't know.
Because I know that commission is working on a tourism branch, so maybe it's something they're already working on, maybe, I don't know. I'll talk to him, see what he says, and
I think
we'll invite him to the next
I
meeting.
think we should have him come and talk to us.
Okay.
And I think we really ought to bring that, to all the members who are on this advisory to please be at that meeting, because we need to know what's already in the works. We don't want to be reinventing the wheel with our master plan. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Where it gets awkward is if there's a vision for going forward and then somebody else shows up and they have a different vision. And,
How do we keep it?
well, either we say, I'm sorry, that's not part of the vision that we are seeking. And so you might have some, like I said, some awkwardness.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of that.
And yes, and I think too, I agree that we need to have that vision, but I think we need to see what's already in the works a little bit. So, just so we have a clearer picture, because we have all kinds of ideas. If we know what they're doing, we can be working towards funding those types of projects. Tourism building, because we're talking about building tourism here. And we want to have as many folks as possible at the table.
Yeah.
Jackie, yeah, does that sound reasonable to you?
Name of the game is to have people spend the night. Because when they spend the night, they buy food, they buy gas, they buy all kinds of stuff. I heard it put very, I don't know if it's crassly, but candidly, with tourism, we just want them to leave their money.
Right.
Come experience, leave your money.
Leave your money. You want your money. Reminds me, I gotta go pay for my wine. Overextended. Oh, credit card, now I gotta go pay cash for mine.
Oh, no.
Different story, different problem. Okay, so those are some, is there any other, I think, let's put that as part of the master plan discussion. Let's invite Trevor to come and talk to us, or the chair of the.
Oh, yeah, see what they're planning.
Yeah, because Perla Cepeda.
Yeah.
She's the chair of the committee. She's a insurance salesman on the old Kmart development.
State Farm.
What's the name of the committee?
The Community and Economic Development Committee.
Community and Economic Development.
Let's see what they're.
It is a mouthful, so they've got it down to all the initials,
Community and Economic Development Committee.
Oh, commission. They're a commission.
So provides assistance, advice, and recommendation on the following: policy development to attract new businesses and help existing businesses grow, assistance in attracting state and federal development assistance funding, advising whether the city should assist in various community and economic development projects, recommendations for the allocation of city resources towards business outreach, recommendation of potential changes to the Sunnyside Municipal Code or city policies that will help promote business growth beneficial to the community and revitalize areas of the city. And all of this other stuff.
Sure. So this is economic business development, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good, yeah.
I heard that he was talking about tourism because Trevor is helping with the Cinco de Mayo event, and so I was like, okay, well maybe their side has a tourism branch.
Well,
So that's
sort
what
of,
I'm thinking.
yeah, that's why I agree with you on that, is that he, you know, are we gonna have a farmer's market again this year? Are we going to have the food truck thing like you had one year? Your place was good. It outgrew your place up there at the, and I don't know where that ended up, but that was kind of fun.
Yakima's doing something on the 6th of May
Uh-huh.
during Cinco de Mayo Festival. It's a taco fest too.
I mean, those are the kinds of things.
Mhm.
This committee is broader in scope than us.
Yeah.
We are one aspect of
We-
business and science right now. Tourism.
And
In
that's,
all aspects.
there's this economic development, but I think that from the Brooks plan, I know that one of the things they talked about, but I think he could really give us some, you know, a little bit of a,
Yeah, we'll invite him, see what he says,
Yeah.
what he thinks his committee is doing.
and maybe when we're building our master plan, maybe we'll get some tips on what, you know. But the thing about going out and getting, you know, figuring out who the stakeholders are, I'm kind of thinking that might be something he's been working on already. And so maybe we can, you know, piggyback on that. That's kind of my thought on that. Does that make sense to you, Peggy?
We'll see how both of our committees.
Peggy, are you still with us?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just needed to see your smiling face. Okay. So then, any other items from you, Jackie?
I don't.
You'll take the,
I'll be submitting the JLAG report April 1st. I'm still missing a few forms, so I'm trying to get those in from people. I said last year I wouldn't give their final checks until we got that, but I kind of had to process things before the 2022 budget closed, so
yeah,
we sent out the checks. I'm just waiting on Cinco de Mayo one, which is obviously there won't be much on it because it was shut down.
mhm,
And then Sort for the Cause already sent me theirs.
mhm,
So there's only one or two that are left.
okay,
So that's it.
all right. So we'll have the next, I know it's difficult for us to get together because we're all kind of scattered out there, but if we want to talk about having Trevor come and talk to us, because you know, once we get rolling on something, we don't want to lose momentum. And the master plan, we don't want to, you know, and the tourism promotion area, we don't want to lose that momentum.
Yeah, we
We
don't.
got it on our mind.
Yeah.
So we want to keep moving forward on it. And like Tom said, we can always add it to our policy. We can make amendments to it anytime. And, but we needed a base. So is there a time we can make now so we can just know when we want to meet again? Everybody has
Okay,
their
let's do that.
time. And just make it now, and then we'll just know that, does this day work? Does a Friday work better for everybody? Or, 'cause there's nothing saying that when we have to meet, we set that ourselves. Do we want to meet again in April?
Yes.
Is that it for you, Tom?
You take a close look here.
Closer look.
The month of May, I will be traveling on the San Juan Islands, and I don't know if good reception will be out there on our boat. So
Okay. Well, let's do it in April so you're still here. Aha.
The third week is not a good week in April. The last week, the beginning of the week is not bad, the end of the week. And otherwise, Otherwise, I think it's clear. There's stuff that comes up, so
Yeah.
I can't take it.
So are you thinking the third week that you said is out?
Third week is not a good week for me.
Okay.
The 26th
How about
of
the
April?
28th of April, Friday, the 28th of April?
Or did you say that part of the week is?
That one may not work for me. I mean, I need to go to, I should still be here then. Friday the 28th may work.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to try to do that?
And then do you guys like this 1:30 or do you guys want closer to the end of the day? So it's like you're leaving the office or you home, I don't know. Just for me, I'm like, whatever works for you guys. And that
To
way,
be honest with you, it's all the same for me.
yeah, you're like, it never ends.
So
This
mine
works
is-
good. We got people here, so let's stick with 1:30.
All right, that works for me.
Somebody should talk to Amy and see if it works for her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you,
I'm hoping with enough notice it'll work.
do we want to have it just here at City Hall?
Yeah, well, we had spoke about having it at the museum. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
remember having locations, but the museum doesn't have a Wi-Fi, so that's why I switched it back here.
Okay.
That's a bummer, because they could really do a lot of interactive.
Yeah, I think they're working on it. With city work, with city departments, they're working on trying to get Wi-Fi out there.
We got some over the senior center now too. Okay, well then most is planned here at City Hall then. Unless we find a better home for us.
Yeah, we're down to one meeting room now and for the whole city, so
What happened
Well-
to the one on the other side?
Trevor made it his office.
Oh,
And then, there should be, as far as I'm concerned, the conference room at the community center should not be used for storage. And I brought that up at city council. I think that, we should be getting some sort of a storage unit if we have that much, things we need to store.
where does the council meet normally?
Council chambers at the
Lawn Justice
court
Center.
office on
Lawn Justice Center.
401
Yeah.
Homer. Yeah, we can meet there. Yeah, that's perfect.
Fridays, so they don't have court on.
I'll double
Fridays.
check if they don't have court on Friday.
But the police department
the
has a
28th.
conference room,
They
too.
do have one there too.
And then
Mhm.
there's the fire department. too. So
Yeah,
there's-
there's
The fire department's repurposing theirs to an actual training room. So
We talked about going out to the different, even maybe in restaurants and things like that, and using their rooms or banks, and just to let people know we're out there, and just something to think about. I don't know if they, have internet or anything. I'd be glad to check up on that if you wanted to do that. Oh, so it never
Well,
went out.
I think we can talk about that, but for now, I think we're good.
We're
right
good
here.
for this next one.
Yeah, but I do think that as LTAC folks, we do need to know what kinds of meeting areas. Because that's one of the things we want to promote too, because that brings people in to stay overnight if they have to bring their, conference. So,
The only concern I have is if you tell somebody we're gonna meet on this date at this time, and they set that aside, we have been
yeah,
inconsistent.
Yeah.
yes, we need to knock that off. So,
So they go through hoops and then all of a sudden.
Hey,
it's
Jackie?
meeting.
Martin says that, Martin just brought in, and it says that it's still waiting, so we didn't go live today. So he just wanted to let you know.
I recorded it because I can't, through this computer, I couldn't log into my Prime Gov, so it's recording through Zoom. So what I do at the end is I'll just upload it to YouTube right away.
Awesome.
so we weren't actually live today.
You're live on Zoom, but not through YouTube. So, but what I do is I record, upload, and it's recording right now. I just
Okay.
upload.
Okay, well, is there anything further to come to the group? Anything anybody else wants to discuss this time? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting at, what time is it?
2:52.
2:52.
Bye, everyone.
Well, bye.
Bye, thanks for being here.